Hello, everyone, and welcome. Yes, I was multitasking. We got a phone call, and I'm like, I know this person. Let me tell them I cannot talk.
That was quick.
I can do a lot in 30 seconds.
Yes, you can.
Hello, Wanderers. Welcome. It's Wednesday night. We're here to wander with you with another great show topic that you have requested. And before we get into that, let's do some little introductions. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, AJ.
And I'm AJ.
And I'm Lee.
Yes, you guys can learn more about us at soulwanderings.com. We've been doing our show for several years. Actually, this will be my the end of this year, September, October, October, November will be 10 years of soul wanderings. It's wild to me. But there's a lot of great shows there on our website. You guys can go over there and check them out from the past. We have a lot of great stuff. A lot of great stuff. The last few years, Natalie and I teamed up and we talk about all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We pick a show topic, you help us pick a show topic, and we just share our viewpoints or our experiences in regards to that. During the day, we hang out at a place that we put a majority of our time and energy into. It's called Vibes, Mind, Body, Spirit. There, where we get to assist humans through this experience with all that it brings, good, bad, and indifferent. Natalie focuses on the human design system, and she is a grief coach. And I do a bunch of other things.
A bunch of other things. A great focus on trauma and have a great way of moving energy in a very kind and compassionate way.
Thanks, Natalie.
You're welcome. I'll do part of your introduction.
I love that.
Once I get people through some of their things, I'm like, now it's time to go visit AJ and get all that residual stuff that doesn't clear out through a talking experience. Just go lay on someone's table.
Yeah.
And let the energy get moved.
Yes, it's so good.
Mm.
Quite the team.
Quite the team.
I'm grateful. And then we're here. We're hanging out with you on Wednesday night. So if you're here with us, thank you for your time. We know that is a valuable resource that you are giving to us, but most of all to yourselves, because I believe that you'll learn at least one thing through our conversation, or be enlightened or inspired or motivated in some way. Good stuff comes from these conversations.
Yeah, I certainly look forward to them.
Last week, you guys voted between two different shows, and I will tell you it was a tie. So we went with one this week, and we will go with another one next week. This week, we are going to be speaking about
higher intelligence and contact.
The intelligence beyond explanation. I was trying to remember the official topic I wrote that I had you guys vote on, but contact experiences and higher intelligence. There we go.
I knew something about. I remember the higher intelligence and then the contact experiences.
Did I come prepared today? No. My day has been like this. My tomorrow will be like this. Just crazy, crazy days. And grateful. So, yeah, a lot of our listeners, you guys came to us from when we were on the station where we talked about this kind of stuff more frequently. We definitely don't dive into contact experiences between Natalie and I, but we've interviewed some really amazing guests who have had experiences. But even just contact experiences in general, I'm not going to just encompass it into one little type like ET experiences, but let's open this box up and break down the walls. Let's talk about all of the things that it could possibly be, all of the what ifs, all of that good stuff, because it's more than just extraterrestrial communication and connection. It's it's just so much.
Multi-dimensional.
Yeah, multi. Yeah, and the one thing that stood out to me when I was feeling on the show is that the title, "The Intelligence Beyond Explanation," doesn't really require us to define what intelligence is.
Right.
So our show can become more powerful just by opening that up. So let's just feel into this as we navigate our way through the show. Let's explore different questions like, why do humans this this one came to me earlier because I gave me a little break, but why do humans throughout history report encounters with something greater than themselves, especially knowing like the scrutiny they'll get or the judgment, or a lot of people have even had their lives ruined, but there's something that happens that's so big beyond comprehension or explanation, and
Mm-hmm.
and they're so moved that they can't not share. And if you've noticed as an observation that a lot of these experiences occur during periods of transformation for that person, like they're
Right.
going through something in life that's pretty substantial, and then all of a sudden they have this experience. So I can relate that a lot to I feel like a higher intelligence experience that I had, my NDE. I was going through something very traumatic in my life, and the experience itself was very traumatic. And then having that experience take place, like, how do you wrap your head around that? How do you comprehend what even took place? So, I mean, we can get into that later, but it's just interesting how I feel more people than not have had these experiences, and we've, of course, been conditioned not to talk about them. But then there's spiritual teachers and gurus and all kinds of other humans who have taken a different route and have shared what they receive as higher intelligence downloads or experiences and things like that. And they share them with us to help raise our frequency and teach us a different way than what we're aware of now. And so we're going to talk about all of it. What do you have to say about that?
Oh my goodness, I have a lot to say.
I
But
know.
to start out, because we talk so much about human design itself was brought by a higher intelligence. The founder of human design had an 8-day mystical experience where he encountered something that wasn't human. He is out there on the internet is the encounter with the voice, which goes into what he experienced during that time. And I don't want to go over that stuff. I just want to bring that up and say the introduction of a body of knowledge just comes from somewhere else. It really does. A lot of people that I know use the language, I was getting downloads, I was receiving some additional information. I've definitely gone through periods of my life where I'll, in my dream, feel like my dream space, I feel like I'm going to school and I can see formulas running through the air or all kinds of different things that in that space I know I'm receiving, but in my waking state, I'm not conscious of what it was received, but I feel like it's just woven into my being in this space. And I get the opportunity to come to know it through experience, which is what this space is really about, is experiential knowledge that only through going through what we can experience and understand the form do we then get to advance beyond this dimension. But I wanted to bring up human design as a contact with a higher intelligence. No, it doesn't look like an ET related experience, but that's not my framework anyway, as far as like aliens coming that are in a body form. But human design definitely is one of those things that came from a different perspective into this perspective. So the multidimensional personalities that are out there may come back they may come to visit this space again where they were once before, and they incarnated out of this plane of existence, this dimension itself. And they come back to visit and to assist us along the way in our own development, because that's what many of the things that I read, that's about that. It's about the continual evolution and raising the frequency. But off the bat, I want to say, we're caught up in, if you're bound by it's all just this physical form, then it may be very difficult. You or people that that are just bound with that. It's this physical body, and then we die, and that's it. Then it's going to be extremely difficult or very traumatic to encounter a shift of paradigm that cracks you open to way bigger than that. And a lot of times people have that opened up to say, my mind cracked and other stuff is getting in. One mundane example of that is, do you realize, and this will be an interesting thing to bring up because you don't know I'm going to bring it up, there are people that do not see the streaks in the sky left by planes. Yeah, people don't see them.
What?
I know. Can you believe that? There's people that just don't see it.
No wonder some people look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, they don't. They
literally like, huh? I just thought that they didn't believe in what it was, not that they weren't there.
I just have an awareness that if you have asked, there are times where if you bring up a conversation with people, they will be like that. They'll look at you like they're crazy, like a lack of awareness that those are, these streaks that are left in the sky, chemtrails from the planes being, our grid. It's now our audience will be like, huh, how could someone not even believe that? But this is an example we're talking about or at least what I want to bring into this is that there are different levels of frequency on this plane of existence, and some people exist in the status quo and not beyond that. So that's one thing that I wanted to bring up, because so I tuned into, right. I agree, to watch the sky, and evidently there's people that don't do that. They're just head down in their everyday life, grinding it out.
It's their everyday life.
Yep.
It's wild to me. Like, I have so many people walking by my house because I live right by a park, and it's a big park because a lot of people go to it, and they're walking with their phones just like this, walking out in nature, out in the world like this.
Put it down, leave it at home, forget it.
Like, no wonder we're so ungrounded.
And I would imagine with that, an alien could plop down right next to them and they wouldn't have a contact experience.
And they won't receive the download. I mean, we can laugh and joke about it all we want, right? But I mean, we already know that half of us, not even half. When I say half, don't take that literal. Generally speaking, a majority of us will have this understanding and this experience that we're having right now. And that's okay, because we all play a role. And I can sit here and be like, oh, they're not even paying attention, but they have a purpose in this existence too. And I think it's interesting, though, just to watch them from where we stand, and just the lack of awareness. Meanwhile, I'm over here, I can barely drag my feet through the mud because the energy is so heavy right now. I'm so tired. The fatigue is real.
Yeah. So one of the, in addition to the human design that I've plugged into, and since I dove deep, and not even through the entire body of knowledge, so one of the awarenesses that I had of looking and doing some research for that is that when this is just my personal experience today. I took an hour or so prior to the show and read some material, a couple of works of channeled things, and I've done it with human design too. When I study it for a little while, I have to set it aside because I simply can't absorb all of it.
Mhm.
And from listening to the mystical experience, in order for that man to absorb it, he was he was taken out of his body form into another form for the duration of his mystical experience. He was literally changed and shifted. These bodies that we're in don't receive the other dimensions with ease. It's just one of those things. And I think that's true about a lot of things that I've heard about with people that have encounters with extraterrestrials or other things, unexplained things. They literally have a different sort of experience than the everyday human experience. We experience something else and then we incorporate it. That's at least my understanding of it.
Yeah.
So the fatigue that happens, I was like, holy cow, my mind is tired from absorbing just a little bit. So it's awareness to have when you tap into higher intelligence things. I feel I've learned and grown to trust the experience, whatever I'm having in the moment is what it is supposed to be.
Mhm.
And a lot of the things that I read, the higher intelligence doesn't come at those of us on this plane with some agenda to drive us to get higher
Mhm.
frequency. They say you've got to get there all on your own. You've got to open the doorways. You've got to reach for it. You've got to climb the stairway, this narrow road. You've got to walk it and do it to get there. No, we
Right.
can't do it to anyone else. No
Right.
shortcuts.
Yeah. Dang it. So I just want to invite you listeners, just while we're sharing, to also be feeling on things for yourself as well. Think about the moments that challenged your understanding of reality, and what did that look like? Like, did you? I know a lot of people have had an NDE, or what about like a profound synchronicity or a dream, like a visitation dream? Or for me, like I just have this sudden knowing, like I'm receiving clear cognition often, just this clear knowing. Or some of us had an encounter with a presence of some kind, or an unexplainable experience, a mystical moment, or something like that, right? I believe everyone has had some type, on some level, of an experience that felt more real than an ordinary experience, an ordinary reality. And that's exciting to me. I love hearing stories. That's how Soul Wandering started. I'm like, tell me all the things about your anomalous experience. I want
Right.
to hear it all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how it started.
And look, almost 10 years later, you just keep going with it. There's so much
Yeah, I
to
can't get
talk about.
enough. And that's why I
No.
love history too, especially human history, not our fake history that we've been told in schools, but throughout history with humans, like it has been reported on several numerous a lot of occasions, a lot of times where encounters have happened of something greater than themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even ancient cultures spoke of gods, of spirits, of ancestors, of angels, star beings, messengers. All humans throughout history have documented somewhere of some kind of higher intelligence. Now modern society, I feel like they speak more about like consciousness and interdimensional intelligence or extraterrestrial intelligence. And I mean, it's all the same. History repeats itself, and we have been here having these experiences for the dawn of all times.
Yeah.
The language changes. But the
And
question's always there. Are we here alone? Are we having these experiences alone? Are we really receiving this information or having these experiences connecting with something different than a human?
And along with what you're talking about through history, it has been a small minority still among the masses of humanity that had the experiences that would spread it out. So even throughout history, it's not everyone getting the experience. There's some people that don't see, they're not open to that. And then there'll be a small number of people that will get and have those experiences and then spread it out to others.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting. I know we're on a show topic, but I just love that Maria
Mhm.
said that. So there's a handful of listeners in the chat room here literally every single week. And since I started Soul Wanderings, they have been here. You guys, it's just, I can't even get into it. I'll just start crying.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so cool. But I just, everyone that's in here has played a journey in this. That's so amazing that you guys are all still hanging out. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, there's a body of work out there. It's all available online or it can be purchased by books, and it's called The Law of One. And it's a collection of channeled works visiting with an intelligence that goes by the name of Ra. And so tagging on to the history thing, I want to read this section that I read to you that comes out of this work that talked about it
Do it.
said that this person, the questioner, in meditation a few nights ago, I had the impression of a question about a crater in Russia. I believe it was called Tunguska. Can you tell me what caused the crater? I am Ra. The destruction of a fission reactor caused this crater. And then the questioner said, whose reactor? I am Ra. This was what you may call a drone sent by Confederation, which malfunctioned. It was moved to an area where its destruction would not cause infringement upon the will of mind, body, spirit complexes. It was then detonated. The questioner asked, what was its purpose in coming here? Ra replies, it was a drone designed to listen to the various signals of your peoples. You were, at that time, beginning work in a more technical sphere. We were interested in determining the extent and the rapidity of your advances. This drone was powered by a simple fission motor or engine, as you would call it. It was not that type which you now know, but was very small. However, it has the same destructive effect upon third density molecular structures. Thus, as it malfunctioned, we felt it was best to pick a place for its destruction rather than attempt to retrieve it, for the probability modes of this maneuver looked very, very minute. Was its danger both blast and destination? I am Ra. There is very little radiation, as you know of it, in this particular type of device. There is radiation which is localized, but the localization of such that it does not drift with the winds, as does the emissions of your somewhat primitive weapons. Now, we're told that crater was an impact from outer space. That's fascinating.
It blows my mind, actually. There's just so many things like that, and they're like beyond explanation, right? Also, we say higher intelligence. I just want to put like a disclaimer out there. Um, that higher intelligence also does not mean better intelligence. Just like with humans, there's got to be a duality of some kind, and there definitely is outside of the human experience as well. And we see it playing. I don't know what I can say on YouTube, so I'm going to stop right there because my whole thought was going to be like, we see it in other places. So, I'm going to take a different direction.
Well,
This censorship thing is challenging for me on all the social platforms that I'm on because I'm like, ooh, because I want to say the things, and also we know how that goes, and we want to keep our platform going. So,
right.
I think when you think of like instead of saying like a higher intelligence because it's not necessarily better, we can like broaden that, maybe like a greater awareness or an expanded consciousness or something that's just not just a higher intelligence.
Well, what I think about is the analogy of different levels of education. So there's someone that has a high school diploma, they went through all the 12 grades, and they have that level of education. And there's people that have gone on to higher educational things where they may get an associate's. But even with the framework of colleges or universities, there's all these modes of study. So you're studying a particular degree program, and there's people that go all the way up and get a doctorate level, and the depth of their knowledge about a particular system of study is deep and wide compared to someone that graduated out of high school and didn't pursue any of that. And that's a really good analogy of what I see when I connect to these different channeled works that talk about enlightenment and talk about how do you proceed incarnation after incarnation after incarnation, raising your frequency over and over and over through those different incarnations, eventually getting to a graduation point where you can open up the door and enter into a different dimension, which is that what comes from some of this channeled work that I've studied. Is an understanding that as you raise your frequency, different doors or gateways will open to the other dimension. You can graduate out of this particular density, third density living, or fourth dimension, which our planet has raised its frequency enough to be third, fourth dimension in our ascension.
Yeah, we're hanging out around there.
Yeah.
Shooting for the 5D though.
Working on it. 5D, not 5G, but 5D.
Yeah, no, I turned that stuff off.
Yeah.
That's so funny. And now I've lost my train. Like I was just going to ask you a question about that, and then I always have a little something extra to say, don't I?
So there was a couple of things that I highlighted in addition to the creator thing. So let me read one of those that said, okay, so what I'm going to read is talking about, well, how do we help other people be awake, get awake, raise their frequency? So I am Ra. It is impossible to help another person directly. It is only possible to make catalyst available in whatever form, the most important being the radiation of realization of oneness with the creator from the self. Less important being information such as we share with you. That was like, bam. It is only by shining our inner light and what we shine, we become a catalyst to others, and then others can proceed forward. So that catalyst, which is a shift, a frequency shift or an awareness shift or a perspective shift. Then it goes on to say, we cannot offer shortcuts to enlightenment. Enlightenment is of the moment. It is an opening to intelligent infinity. It can only be accomplished by the self for the self. Another self cannot teach/learn enlightenment, but only teach/learn information, inspiration, or a sharing of love, of mystery, of the unknown that makes the other self reach out and begin the seeking process that ends in a moment. but who can know when an entity will open the gate to the present?
That makes me think of Carl Jung.
Hmm.
You know, he always talked about holding the mystery. I don't know if you've done a lot of teachings from him, but it was like a concept of holding the mystery. Like, not everything needs immediate explanation. Not everything requires blind belief either. Like, we
Right.
can remain curious without being gullible, and we can remain open without abandoning our discernment.
Yeah. And that's in the language of these works that says it's fostering your own discernment. And through that discernment, you're working through your own enlightenment. And that's a big tool for these types of things. And discernment doesn't mean, so one thing that I find along with what you've said so far is that when you encounter something that's phenomenal or anomalous, and then the mind wants to argue with it, that's not discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Discernment is a deeper judgmentation, which isn't an elimination of the phenomenon. It's an inclusion of the phenomenon into and incorporating it into what you know and stretching beyond what you this one space, or being so locked up in your own here and now, like here and now is all we have. That's a locked up state of consciousness. Consciousness is so much more. So throughout the years, I've described a koi pond. If we visit a koi pond and we're watching the fish in the koi pond, those fish cannot describe the sidewalk that we are standing on watching them.
Mm-hmm.
And in so many ways, us in our embodiment in these bodies are the koi in the pond, and we do our best to try to reach beyond it, but we're still limited in what we're able to see. And so these external higher intelligence input from an elsewhere perspective assist us in expansion, because they come and visit and give us a perspective that we don't have access to in our present reality.
I like that. Yeah, it is making me feel on Carl Jung's teachings a lot. I really, 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 really admire that human. I learned so much. But he always suggested that experiences can be like psychologically real
Mm-hmm.
and deeply meaningful. They can be both, regardless of whether or not they can be objectively verified.
Right.
But
Yeah.
humans, they're like, how can I prove this happened? How can I prove to somebody that this happened? Instead of, what is this experience asking me to learn?
Or taking that and then taking that, the radiation of it, if it's embodied within your skin, and the way that you radiate it is living according to that next thing that you've taken on, or the phenomenon. And it's not about jumping back into the limitation by trying to prove it even. It's like having a conversation about chemtrails with someone that doesn't see them. If you have an awareness that perhaps they don't see them, then you don't try to prove the chemtrails.
Mm-hmm.
You can exist in the knowing that you see them yourself. And that can be expanded to, say, these levels of consciousness, where it's not getting into equibbling and trying to prove things. It's not about that. You don't want to argue with fools so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, listeners, to have you engage in conversation with us. What do you guys believe contact experiences are? Do you feel like they're spiritual? Do you feel like they're psychological, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, divine? I'm curious what you guys feel that these higher intelligence contact experiences are. At least from your experience, or what your understanding is from all the shows you listen to, because I know you guys do.
A thought that I had with what you were saying is that at times contact with entities that are not human per se doesn't mean that they're higher intelligence. And it does not mean that they're here for a greater good. They may be here simply for their own. Their own, they
their
come
own
to
experience.
their own.
They're commingling with our experiences,
Mm-hmm.
or the lines are blurred.
Yeah.
But they have more of an awareness than we do, from my understanding. They don't
Yeah.
get their memories wiped. Only humans do. So we can have the human experience. That's how we learn, apparently.
Well, maybe it's
I'm
a
like,
requisite for being in this particular
are we in
reality.
college at this point? Have I graduated high school yet?
What does someone do to our planet if they come and they remember, or they have a way of remembering beyond what the typical person remembers? Those are the ones that are the Buddhas or the Messiahs, or work to influence, or, to have that radiation of saying more is possible than what you're living.
Right. More is possible. Everything is infinite, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they say.
That's what they say.
I can't wait to find out the truth.
Whatever the truth is from one perspective
Whatever
or
it
another
is.
perspective.
Whatever it is, I can't wait.
I hear it's on which dimension. Which dimension are we knowing the truth about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there are people who may not feel like they've had any kind of contact experience or higher intelligence experience, and maybe wanting to invite that energy in. I say with caution, be careful what you wish for. But this is why people will go into like deep meditations or do different substances like ketamine or
Psychedelics or
any kind of psychedelics or something like that. And so they can have this awareness or this awakening or this connection or these conversations. And humans by nature, we're curious. And so those things take place. And so then more people are having these experiences. Do you feel like higher intelligence wants to communicate with us? Do you think they, whatever it is, or not just a being, but like the energy, the vibration, the frequency, is that something that, do you feel like we need to have that in the human experience? Is that part of our awakening? Like, what do you think? How do the lines blur? Does my question make sense? Like,
my response would be that there's going to be, okay, so if discernment is an aspect of expansion or enlightenment, then those that are enlightened would have discernment of who or where they could gain access. In addition to what we had touched on earlier, that coming from a higher dimension imposes or taxes those of us in these bodies. Our bodies can only do so much. So there's different aspects where someone coming from another space needs to be mindful of the wear and tear that can happen on the person receiving the contact. So I do feel like there's places from other dimensions that want to work with us, but they also are aware of our limitations. We are in a form that's limited. It just has its limits. And evidently that's part of the charm of coming to this place, is experiencing the limits. Because it's kind of like an analogy would be like going into one of those, what do they call those? Escape rooms. Because it's fun. It's fun to be bound up in an escape room, kind of an idea. So I think that's along the lines of
For
your
who?
question. Well, not, I haven't done one of those, but I've heard of people that have a with, and then to also assist, because there's so many humans that suffer, like suffering. So there's another body of work that which are the channelings of Seth. And so one of the quotes from that was, suffering is not good for the soul unless it teaches you how to not suffer. That is its purpose. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, but what if the experiences aren't here to give us answers, but to like awaken us to bigger, better questions?
Oh, for sure. I had someone just recently tell me that was an expansion point for me. She said, well, what fun would it be if you just knew all the answers to all the problems? Like that's along what you said.
And also, why does it take so long for us to figure out the answers?
Well, it's just a blink of the eye. I mean, on the show we've said it's just like in 11 minutes. It doesn't really, in the grand scheme of things, this is a don't miss the blink. I just read that somewhere recently. Don't miss the blink, because this really is a short amount of time. So we think it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot because we resist what is. Somewhere else in my things, it was talking about, in order to expand to another realm of existence that isn't this density, you have to know how to work with form and your emotions and your thoughts. So there's a lot in the body of knowledge that I was talking about that says the thoughts lead to your reality. So you need to understand how to work with your thoughts and your emotions, and being able to manipulate or understand how that affects reality, to be able to, part of expansion is understanding that, the knowing of it, and not being carried away by the current of humanness that so often, I was thinking about this as I was driving, and I thought, how often we get just pulled sideways by another person.
That's my whole day. It's been my whole week. And it's
this
Wednesday.
way.
Often, Natalie, often. And I'm not the only one. I'm sure we all feel that way.
Right. And so transcending that, and I know that I focused in on this higher intelligence coming as forms of information or inspiration. But I feel really strongly about that, so much from my incorporating these teachings or this information that I've read throughout my life, and then embodying it, and then seeing that effect when I embody what is a higher intelligence informational stream, and then how I am different for it, and then passing that on. So some of it requires study, most of it requires embodiment, so that it can transcend to a different dimensional or a different vibrational frequency and hold. We've talked about the map of consciousness. From the higher levels of intelligence, they hold a higher level of frequency as a norm versus a visit to that place.
To that place.
To that place, or this, yes.
Whatever place we're talking about. That one place, Natalie.
That one place.
Me trying to be serious today is not working. This is not working for me.
So along the lines of what I was just talking about, in the Seth channelings, this one of the Seth concepts is about growth and know thyself. It says the human race is a stage through which various forms of consciousness travel. Before you can be allowed into the systems of reality that are more extensive and open, you must first learn to handle energy and see through physical materialization the concrete result of thought and emotion.
I'm getting the map of consciousness up on here.
Oh,
I just love sharing it. So
I
I'm
love it
always like,
too.
let's just share it.
Yeah,
But it's being
it's being
awesome.
tricky.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I'll
gonna
read
get it
this.
though. Just
Yeah,
hold on. I'm gonna get it. I
I
really am.
believe
So
you
go
will.
ahead and I'm
One
gonna
more
get
quote. In more advanced systems, so from our contact or from our higher intelligence systems, in more advanced systems, thoughts and emotions are automatically and immediately translated into action. Therefore, the lessons must be taught and learned well. The responsibility for creation must be clearly understood.
Mm.
And how many of us humans don't quite grasp that we're responsible for our life? We hear it in consciousness teachings and law of attraction and those types of things that are much more mainstream, at least in the Western world, I think.
Mhm.
And so the responsibility for creation must be clearly understood. That's profound to me to say, do you understand that? I did that. I did that. I did, I did all of that. Dang.
Mhm.
This is what I appreciate about this model of consciousness is to understand if you're looking at your own life and you want to look at this like the predominant emotional state, how long can you hold? Let's look at this 250, which is neutrality and trust. How frequently or how consistently could you hold a level of trust, or the next one up, optimism? And is that your predominant state? If you measured the percentage of your week, could you hold 51% in trust or optimism or forgiveness? Or would what's your percentage that you're holding those states or the view of life? And that's one way to evaluate your own life using this tool.
It's a great tool.
Mm-hmm.
And you can muscle test yourself, you guys, if you're curious on where your body is at, because your mind gets in the way, right? You can say, "Oh, I'm here," but your body keeps the score. We
It
talked about that
does.
last week.
Mm-hmm.
So you can muscle test and it will tell you where you're at, or have somebody muscle test you. And always strive to go up, up,
Up.
up.
Yep. Moving up. Moving up.
It's a great reference tool.
Thanks
You're
for
coming
bringing
at
that
us
up.
with the goods.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think feel about this, know about this? With your connection to
Right.
the Akashic Records is another link,
Absolutely.
contact.
Absolutely. So I'm just in a very different state of mind this evening. So
Oh,
not as connected as usual. Um, when I told you guys the fatigue is real, it's real. So very briefly, because if I start getting into the Akashic records, then I'm going to start connecting because it just works that way.
oh,
Um, but from when I feel into past experience on it, there is no separation from this human experience to a spiritual experience outside of this, to a higher frequency, a higher dimensional space. There's no separation. Everything is all encompassing. And so when I go into the records, it's not like this is this, that is that. It's all, it all is how we refer to ourselves, all is one. It's that. It's all encompassing. And so there's no separation of anything. You don't have the same, like, people come get Akashic readings and they think they have all those questions, but by the end of the reading they don't have any questions because all the information has come through, because it's a remembering. So I feel like we are the higher intelligence. We're just having this human experience. So when you open up the records and receive all of this information, which is your unconscious thoughts, actions, behaviors, thoughts, deeds, actions, and past, current, and future timelines, then all you're doing is connecting to a higher version of yourself. So there's this remembering. And so when I look at it, it's just everything. And you I don't feel like we'll ever get answers here, right? I've said that so many times. The answers aren't going to come here. But that's the great thing is like now is the time where we can learn everything that we desire to come up with more questions. Because I think that's where we learn is in broadening our horizon or deepening our awareness to everything that is. And I feel like, every single show, podcast, interview, whatever it is, there's always a question at the end of it. And nobody ever has the full answer because we just don't know. And I think that's what keeps us in wonder and curiosity. And I love that because that also raises the frequency. That also raises the vibration in which we live in because it's a creative energy. And so, if I could say anything about, well, what is higher intelligence? What are we talking about? What experiences are we having? Let's just keep asking more questions and inviting more of that energy in because that's where we're going to have more experiences. That's where we're going to learn and grow. That's how we're going to heal ourselves. That's how we're going to raise our frequency. And it's just like you said earlier, we can literally change the frequency just by being our most authentic selves.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't necessarily say authentic self, but that was the gist of it.
Right.
And I always say authenticity is my love language, and I believe that it's a higher frequency than love. Because when we are all living our authentic self and we're not trying to be someone else and we're not trying um to prove ourselves and we're just showing up authentically as we are, curious and full of wonder and full of creative energy. Those are the experiences that are going to awaken us. Those are the experiences that are going to connect us and allow us to have more of these, ineffable experiences that we get to have, whether that is with connections with angels or if you've had an NDE or if you have profound dreams or you know, these big moments in deep meditation, whatever it is. And so, like, if I had to say anything about any of it and what I've experienced, it's that is just always approach um, everything, especially questions of higher intelligence or, um, those things that we're told to not talk about with just so much curiosity and wonder instead of like trying to prove yourself like that you're right or someone else is wrong, but just lean into wanting to know more.
When you were talking, I was so many things flashed through my mind, but when we encounter the resistance, that's a box, and the universe isn't a box. It's not a box. The universe is always the wonder, the questions is this ever expansion of experience and knowledge, but mostly experience. This the universe discovering itself through all of us having experiences. It gets to discover itself. It gets to have the sensation.
Mhm.
What if we're a bundle of cells in the great universe body? We're just this bundle of cells. We're one aspect of the greater conscious. And when you were saying, we keep the wonder, the we-ness that is all of it.
Mhm.
It's so much more than just our one perspective. And that is a content just with or a contact with just within itself of saying it's greater than any one perspective. It can lighten your whole life. Like if you realize that everyone has a perspective.
Right. And who's to say that your perspective isn't being received by something greater, higher, more intelligent than yourself.
Yep.
I mean, we're going to be talking about telepathy and intuition and human connection next week, which is a great follow up to this one, because is telepathy possible? And if so, can we communicate beyond words? That's what is so amazing about what we're talking about tonight, is because those things are happening and they're being reported left, right. They're everywhere. And they always occur to a certain degree, whether we're paying attention or not. That's why it's fun to, like, when I say be childlike and curious, that's what I mean. Just get away from your devices, get away from your box.
From the box.
Go out and take slow walks, slow intentional walks. Look at the grass, touch the trees, look at the sky. There's just so much waiting for us to grab onto. All of this is here for us for the taking. So whether you're looking down and not paying attention or looking up and grabbing the inspiration, there's your free will. But I hope you all stay curious, and I hope you all live your lives with wonder, because there's just so many things that you'll experience if you do.
So many things.
Mm-hmm. It's so good.
What a great world. Well, I think I can find more information in these channeled works about telepathy. That'll be fun to bring more of that next week.
Definitely. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. Ride your bicycle.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Pet the puppies. Oh, my gosh. I love that she just said that. So she's a doggy lover, a pet lover. We have the most amazing therapy dog in our space right now. And he's here right now, and I just wanted to come in my office. But yeah.
He is pretty incredible, that little guy.
So good. But that just made me lose my train of thought. I had something really good, but if it comes back, maybe I'll bring it up another time. There's just so many things that are coming online now.
It's so true.
I love this, Ronald. Yes, telepathy is possible. We'll talk about it next week. Definitely, definitely. You guys have been in it to win it. If you haven't already liked the video, to help us out, will you? We've made it over the 100 mark with our followers on YouTube in the last year. So thank you. And I guess we'll be back here with you next week, I guess. Is that the plan?
That's the plan I have.
Telepathy, intuition, and human connection. So we'll see you guys all next week.
Yeah, have a good one.
Have a good one, everyone. Good night. Oh, I'm trying to share all of the things. Okay, good night.